It's all covered in today's China Truths.
In recent years, China's slowing economy has devastated countless industries, from real estate to restaurants. The collapse has swept away fortunes overnight, and many once powerful private entrepreneurs, worth hundreds of millions of RMB, have been reduced to nothing. Among them, one story stands out: a once glamorous daughter of a billionaire family who lost everything overnight when her parents' real estate empire crumbled. Her heartbreaking journey from luxury to debt has gripped millions of netizens across China. She recalled that dark year, trapped in a failed project, unable even to afford a plane ticket home. "At that time," she said quietly, "living itself required the greatest courage." When the family's tourism real estate venture collapsed, they were forced to sell everything: houses, cars, and shares, just to keep the company alive. Even then, she refused to abandon her employees, insisting, no matter how hard it was, we'd pay their salaries first. Evergrande had once offered to buy their project for 600 million RMB, but she sighed, "If only we'd sold then. Even 400 million now would be a miracle." Today, she smiles as she recounts those painful memories, but behind her calm expression lies a deep, unspoken sorrow. She once owned dozens of apartments. Now, she lives in a shared bunk bed. She once attended celebrity gatherings. Now, even her old friends have vanished. "Even when we still had tens of millions, people treated us like we were broke," she said bitterly. "And when we really lost everything, nobody cared." Bankruptcy didn't just destroy her wealth, it changed her relationships. "True friends stayed," she said, "but the so-called social ones disappeared." Her voice trembled as she added, "If you're no longer in that circle, how can they still treat you the same? You can't just show up and eat for free every day." She laughed softly as she remembered how shallow it all was. Friends once asked, "Did you bring your designer bags?" At high-end gatherings, everyone flaunted Hermes. "If you don't have one, you don't belong," she said with a wry smile. "You feel embarrassed to even show up. Everyone's taking pictures, and if you don't have that bag, you suddenly become invisible." Even spending became painful. She once spent thousands on fine Japanese dinners, but now such extravagance feels meaningless. "There's no point pretending anymore," she said. "After bankruptcy, I divorced my ex-husband, and that was the start of my real life." Now, she lives in Macau with her new husband, running a small cafe. The business is modest, just enough to survive, but her heart is finally at peace. "All I want now," she said, smiling, "is a stable, quiet life." Her ex-husband, she revealed, had spent years doing nothing, just gaming and traveling, while the family paid for everything. "Back then, we had 4 maids and 2 drivers. When the money dried up, the drivers left. 2 maids remained, and he complained about having to help. That's when I realized wealth can blind you." Running the cafe isn't easy, but she finds joy in small victories. "I only bought a coffee grinder after earning enough myself," she said proudly. Despite the hardships, she feels grateful for her new life and for her husband. "He doesn't have much money," she smiled, "but he makes me laugh. He showed me that happiness doesn't depend on wealth." Looking back, she said softly, "If I could live again, I'd rather be born into an ordinary family. When you've never seen the world's luxury, you won't be tortured by its loss. Living simply, peacefully, is its own kind of happiness." The once wealthy daughter also shared the heartbreaking story of another fallen heiress. She was the daughter of a restaurant tycoon whose family once built an empire worth hundreds of millions. But just like her, bankruptcy turned her from a pampered rich girl into an ordinary working woman, juggling life and work to survive. In a viral video, the 2 broke daughters sat together, sharing their rise and fall. Their laughter tinged with pain. The restaurant heiress recalled her family's glory days. Back then, their brand was everywhere. At the peak of our business, we owned over a dozen restaurants across the city, she said proudly. Every time I came back from a trip, I'd hear about another grand opening. But as time passed, the booming empire began to crumble. It didn't collapse overnight, she explained. It was like being a frog in warm water. The temperature kept rising, and by the time we realized it, it was already boiling. Her parents, blinded by pride and nostalgia, couldn't let go of their life's work. They treated the company like their own child, she said softly. Even when the numbers turned red, they kept investing, pouring in money, effort, and hope, only to watch it fall apart piece by piece. She tried everything to help, managing branches, cutting costs, finding investors, but nothing worked. Bankruptcy eventually came like a storm they couldn't stop. All my life, I never worried about money, she sighed. But when we lost everything, I realized I couldn't even afford health insurance. I wasn't even qualified to get sick. During their chat, the former restaurant heiress suddenly laughed, recalling a moment that perfectly captured her new reality. I remember clocking in late to work, she said, smiling bitterly. Every time I forgot, 30 RMB would be deducted. That's a meal gone. Now 35, unmarried, and still rebuilding her life, she remembered her first job after the collapse. My boss's wife yelled at me in front of everyone, she said. I grew up surrounded by love and luxury. I didn't know how harsh the real world could be. All I could do was stand there and take it. She admitted that her parents had always sheltered her from pain, never letting her see the darker sides of life. But the year their business went under changed everything. That year, she said quietly, I learned what it meant to face fear, shame, and hunger. Bankruptcy didn't just take away our money, it forced me to grow up. Many netizens commented on their stories, saying that even the fallen rich still have an advantage. Their mindset, education, and worldview are far beyond that of ordinary people, but others saw it differently. When the snow of change falls, one person wrote, it becomes a mountain on everyone's shoulders, and now that mountain has finally crushed the wealthy too. As social media continues to grow, more and more once-rich families are coming forward to share their post-collapse lives on platforms like TikTok. Some are former overseas students, others from middle-class families who lost everything to failed investments or collapsing businesses. Their stories, raw, painful, and brutally honest, have become the most vivid reflection of China's deepening economic downturn. Each video, each confession, is a quiet cry from those who once had everything and now struggle just to stay afloat. China's once glorious economy is collapsing from within. Factories are shutting down, businesses are going bankrupt, and millions of young people are left jobless. The once proud middle class, once the backbone of China's prosperity, is disappearing, slipping quietly into poverty. Luxury malls stand empty, and apartments that once symbolized success now lie abandoned, unsold, and forgotten. Across the nation, people whisper the same painful truth. Money is gone, and so is hope. Even the wealthy, once untouchable, are falling one after another, their empires crushed under mountains of debt and despair. The dream of endless growth has shattered, leaving behind a nation struggling to survive amid fear, unemployment, and the ruins of false prosperity.
Once hailed as the pride of China's technology revolution, now they lie abandoned. Rows of lifeless electric cars rusting in the graveyards of failure. This is the story of China's new energy empire, a dream built with the full might of the Communist Party, now collapsing before the world's eyes. In just 5 years, over 400 Chinese new energy vehicle companies have gone bankrupt. Price wars, fake factories, unfinished cars. The once glorious electric boom has turned into a national tragedy. What was supposed to lead the Made in China 2025 plan has now become another grave marker of collapse, following the downfall of real estate. When steel mills shut down, the government poured their excess steel into car manufacturing. Real estate agents, phone sellers, even rat poison dealers jumped in, thinking they could build a car and make a fortune. The result? PowerPoint car companies, startups that existed only in slides, not in factories. Ordinary people were lured in by the illusion. For just 200,000 yuan, you could drive away in a shiny EV with a refrigerator, a sofa, and a Rolls-Royce starry sky ceiling. For a while, it felt like luxury for the masses, until the battery started dying. Now that same 100,000 yuan car needs an 80,000 yuan battery replacement. For some models, the battery alone costs more than the car itself. The warranty period of the first wave of e-billionaires has expired, and they are discovering the cruel reality. Replacing a battery isn't repair, it's financial ruin. Manufacturers integrated batteries into the car body to save space and boost range. But it also means a single cell failure can force owners to replace the entire pack. A disguised scam and a disaster for users. Insurance companies are cashing in too. Insurance premiums for EVs have surged by 52%, now 21% higher than for gasoline cars. China's electric car miracle has turned into a black hole of debt, deception, and despair. Even giants like NIO have burned through nearly 100 billion yuan without turning a profit. Xiaomi's EV dream is bleeding red ink. Only a few, like BYD and Li Auto, are barely surviving. The rest are sinking fast. This isn't innovation. It's desperation. This isn't a new energy revolution. It's the final spark before total collapse. Only the first wave of new energy vehicle owners has begun to experience the nightmare of battery failure. But millions more are waiting in line. NIO's chairman, Li Bin, warned it that between now and 2032, 20 million EVs in China will see their warranties expire. During that time, more automakers will likely collapse, leaving owners helpless, without after-sales service, without justice, and without even a place to complain. The truth is harsh. This crisis is only beginning. The so-called future of mobility may soon become a graveyard of abandoned dreams, paid for by millions of ordinary Chinese families. For some, that nightmare has already arrived. Thousands of buyers of unfinished EVs can only watch their cars rot, unfixable and unsellable, their hard-earned savings turning into scrap metal and regret. Man, a few years ago, people mocked the traditional BBA brands, calling them bad brand electrics, laughing that the rich were fools. But never underestimate the judgment of the wealthy. Now, the boomerang has come back hard. Over the past 2 years, countless new EV makers have gone bankrupt. After unfinished apartments, we now have unfinished cars. According to China Business News, Nasia Auto alone has left more than 400,000 owners stranded, with expired warranties and denied insurance claims. Can they sell their cars? Not even used car dealers dare to buy them. These people worked for years to afford a car, only to see their dreams collapse overnight. That's why buying from a century-old brand means buying security. Even companies like Mitsubishi, Suzuki, and Renault, though gone from China, still honor after-sales service. The difference speaks for itself. Meanwhile, new car prices are soaring and the used car market is collapsing. According to the China Automobile Dealers Association, 73.6% of used car dealers lost money in the first half of 2025. The China Automobile Distribution Industry Report shows that while transaction volume rose, the average price plunged from RMB 61,080 in 2024 to RMB 53,670, a 12.3% drop. Sales of new energy vehicles now make up 36.7% of China's auto market, but used EV inventory is piling up fast. By June 2020, the average inventory cycle stretched to 43 days, with over a third of dealers stuck holding stock they can't sell. Proof that pressure on automakers is reaching a breaking point. Consulting firm Alex Partners predicts that by 2030, only 15 out of 129 Chinese electric and hybrid car brands will survive. Even industry leaders admit it. He Xiaopeng, CEO of XPeng Motors, said that to stay alive by 2030, each company must sell at least 3 million vehicles annually, a goal only 8 might reach. Yet XPeng sold just 190,000 cars in 2024. China's car price war has entered its third brutal year. Experts say the only cure is mass bankruptcies. But local officials are too afraid. Because when automakers fall, millions lose jobs, and China's fragile economy cracks even deeper. There's a saying spreading online, you're not buying a car, you're buying a scrap metal certificate. After China's new energy dream collapsed, entire server systems went dark overnight, turning thousands of high-tech cars into lifeless metal shells. Windows no longer open, software can't start, and repairs cost a fortune. Even worse, batteries can't be replaced with third-party cells. The replacements often cost more than the car itself. Most parts have been discontinued, leaving owners to scavenge for components, while a single control module now sells for over 10,000 yuan. This chaos didn't happen by accident. It was engineered by the Chinese Communist Party's blind industrial policy. In 2009, Beijing poured billions into electric vehicle subsidies, ordering automakers to mass produce and consumers to buy. By 2017, it unveiled an even grander vision, a target of 35 million vehicles by 2020, almost double U.S. annual sales.
Please share your thoughts in the comments section below. We will keep reporting on the COVID surge in China, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to get the latest videos. And thank you for tuning in.